Hi everyone, my name is Monica and I live in Osteen, Florida, which is Central Florida, Zone 9B. For about the last year or so, I have gotten into houseplants, and today I want to show you my Calathea collection. So let's get started. So first up we have this little guy. This is a Calathea ornata, otherwise known as a pinstripe Calathea. Quite honestly, this is one of my cutest Calatheas, I'd say. I'm sure you've noticed that it's in a terracotta pot, which I actually antiqued with my mother-in-law. I know most of you are probably thinking terracotta and Calatheas are not a good mix, but I do know that I am a tenacious overwaterer. So the way I can keep my Calatheas healthy and perky is by keeping them in terracotta and constantly checking the moisture. But I do tend to overwater, so terracotta works best for me. The next Calathea in my collection is the Calathea Orbifolia. This little guy I got as a little plug. He came with 5 of them. I know that they grow into very large leaves. They're beautiful, very shiny, very almost soft and supple looking. This guy has some growing to go, and you can see I've already got a few brown little tips there, so hopefully that's not going to progress a whole lot, but generally speaking I keep him a little bit further away from my east facing window, which is the side that my potting patio is on, and I mist him daily and he seems to be pretty happy. I'll usually check the soil about every day, and I find myself giving him a thorough watering about every week or so. Right now it's extremely hot and humid in Florida, and actually right now it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're sitting at 87 degrees and 55% humidity in the potting patio, which of course is looking backwards into the camera. But take my word for it, 87 degrees, 55% humidity. So the Orbifolia and the Calatheas are happy. I'm sure you'll notice this big guy in the background. He's a little bit of a unique one. I actually just got him maybe 2 weeks ago. This is a Calathea Fucata. I am in love with this shape of leaf, and I love the patterning of the leaves. It actually reminds me a little bit of a philodendron soderoy or a mammei, but in Calathea form. So it has that medallion shaped leaf that you're so used to seeing on those other more common Calatheas, but this guy I picked up, I actually won him I think on an eBay auction. So we picked him up. He actually originated from Florida, so hopefully there wasn't too much acclimatization that he had to go through. But so far so good. He looks perky and happy. He is in a glazed pot, so that I'm being very mindful not to overwater this guy. But so far so good with him. Next up, we've got my Calathea Beauty Star. I love this guy because he is taller, a little bit leaner than the other Calatheas that tend to be a little bit bushier with the bigger leaves. I like the way this one grows as kind of a statement Calathea. As you can see, I am battling with some browning tips here. But what I do find really interesting about this Calathea is that the tips, or the backs, I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, but the backs are purple, and they kind of fade to a green as they mature. Also, the stripes on these beauty stars, they start out pink, and then they actually, so this one's a pretty pink one. Let's see over here if you can see it. It's a pretty pink one, but then they fade to more of a white one, to more of a white stripe there. So this guy keeps changing. He morphs all the time, so I like to keep my eye on him and see what he's up to next. Next up, this is probably the newest one in my collection. This is a Calathea Orbifolia Roseopicta. Looks a lot like the Medallion. The difference is the stripe down the center, and the little ruffled line around the edge is pink when it comes out, and it fades to white. So I like this one quite a bit. It's not a dotty. Dotties are much darker foliage with a very almost neon stripe and line, and the foliage itself is a very, very deep purple. But that one will be next in my collection, I'm sure, to acquire. I am watching for this one because I am notorious for getting crispy leaves on my medallions. So I have one of the more common medallions that I'll be showing you, and you'll be able to see some of the leaf damage. Quite honestly, I don't know if it's because I use well water instead of distilled, even though I think that well should be fine. I don't know if he got too much sun exposure, even though again he's up higher on my east facing window. I can't say it's moisture because, as I mentioned before, I am a notorious overwaterer. So I'm not sure exactly. The verdict is out on why my medallions seem to suffer at my hands. This is my tried and true. This was actually the first Calathea that I ever received. This is one of the first plants that started my passion for houseplants. This is the Calathea Lancifolia, otherwise known as the rattlesnake plant. My husband lovingly calls this plant the pickle plant because to him it looks like dill pickles. Not quite sure why, but I think there's some maybe resemblance there. This is probably one of my most easy, hardy, tough Calatheas that I have in my collection. Very low maintenance, very non-dramatic, puts its leaves up in a prayer plant fashion, puts them down, very, very hardy, very little moisture needed, no browning tips. I give this one a 10 out of 10, and it just, I mean, the foliage, you can't go wrong. Each leaf it puts out is completely consistent with those darker markings, and it looks almost like a reptile. So I love my Calathea Lancifolia. All right, guys, this is the one I'm struggling the most with. This is a Calathea Sanguinea. You can barely even tell because where there should be some red going on, there is brown. And quite honestly, other than the purple tips underneath, I'm not sure what this guy's gonna do. There is a new leaf here coming out, and there is a little baby, I don't know if you can see him, but popping out right there. But I sprayed this guy with neem oil a few weeks ago. I know that Calatheas are typically very sensitive to anything other than water going on their leaves. So ever since then, he has been starting to kind of fade in the green. You know, I'm not sure what this one's gonna end up doing. Hopefully he survives. Hopefully the little baby comes out and is very healthy and returns to the dark green foliage and the white down the middle with a little bit of that blood red color. But hopefully this new leaf, although it looks a little faded and already has a brown tip, hopefully he'll be okay. So if you have any suggestions as to how to perk this guy up, and I know there's no reverting these brown tips, but if you can think of anything that I could possibly be doing wrong, soil is nice and moist. Yes, he's in a terracotta pot. We covered that before with my tendency to overwater. But just let me know. Do you know if Calatheas are averse to neem oil on the leaves? Any tips are highly, highly appreciated. This is one of the jewels of my collection. This is the ever popular Calathea Musaica. This is also called a network plant, obviously because of the very intricate network, so to speak, in the leaves. You can see that patterning there. It is just stunning. I love when the new leaves come out. I've got one popping up right there. They come up almost like in a twist, very narrow twist, and then they unfurl and they are very, very soft, almost silky to the touch. Then they start to harden off, but this plant just keeps on giving. It gets fuller and fuller. I think I've divided this one in the last year, probably 4 or 5 times already. So this is my Calathea Musaica. Absolutely love this plant. I do consider it fairly easy to take care of. Again, pretty standard. Keep it moist. Keep it in an east-facing window, not too close to the window. These guys are probably about 8 feet back, 8 to 10 feet. And this one just loves life. Very few pest problems compared to some of my other Calatheas, but this one's definitely an A+ in my book. All right, on to the big guns. So we have here my Calathea Burle Marx. This one just came in the mail about a week ago. I think I got this one at a local plant shop that was just around the corner, actually, not too far from my house, and I couldn't pass it up. It's too big, it's too beautiful, it was too healthy, and what can I say, the price was fantastic. Shipping was fantastic as well. I will certainly include a link to their shop so you guys can partake in what they have to offer. I highly recommend them, and I cannot remember their name to save my life at the moment. But my Calathea Burle Marx, I know it's fairly common, but it was not one that I had in my collection. It is so far so good. In a week's time, no issues here. It is unfurled from its shipping stress. It's perked up. It is quite big. It is quite full and tall, and I can't wait to see what this guy does. And actually, this one could maybe in a few months due to be divided a little bit. All right, this Calathea, oh, it's heavy. Oh, newly watered. Also came in that shipment, same thing. Look how big that is, you guys. It is just huge. This is the Calathea Makoyana. Again, not particularly rare, but oh my gosh, you can't pass it up. Look at those markings and look at the underside of that leaf. How stunning is that? I just love this. I needed a big Calathea to put on the top shelf of my potting patio for my Calatheas, and this one is exactly what I was looking for. All right, on to my, my poor Medallion here. Please don't judge too harshly. Oh, this one also I got about a year ago in my original purchase of houseplants. I know he doesn't look too bad, hopefully, but I did have to cut off a leaf that was completely browning. I don't know if something got on the leaf and it wasn't happy, or if it was just an older leaf and its time had come. But we've got some serious browned edges here, and otherwise he looks okay. He's not suffering from any spider mites or anything. He's got a little bit of a tattered new leaf coming out here. I'm not sure if because they live outside, maybe some slugs are getting to it. I don't know, but I always kind of say a little prayer and before I look at him every morning to see if there's been any new damage or anything. But this is my Calathea Medallion. And last but not least, another heavy big one. Ooh. I picked up this beautiful Calathea Vittata last week at one of my favorite plant stops. I mean, look at it. It is huge. I think I picked it up for, I think it was just about $10 for this size, which is incredible for me. I have heard that they're pretty low maintenance compared to most Calatheas. Hopefully this one proves that to be correct. He's living next to my Medallion and my Makoyana on the top shelf. He's just a very classic, elegant Calathea to me, and the growth pattern's fantastic because it's very full. So this is my Calathea Vittata. All right. Oh, I think I got a workout putting up those Calatheas up and down, and oh, they're just taking over the screen. But so that is my 12 Calathea collection. I appreciate you guys taking a look, and I hope that some people have some recommendations for me with my Calathea Medallion. I know that Calatheas in general tend to be a more dramatic plant than others, say philodendrons or anthuriums. So any tips would be more than welcome. Again, my name is Monica. This is my pilot video for my potting patio. Hopefully I'll be coming to you with a few more videos of different types, and talk to you later. Bye.